My name is Harry, and I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here.
Today is June 10th, 2024. It is 4:23 a.m. This is video number 2. Video number 1, I was talking about different things, and I want to read an article, so I decided to put it separate. So this will be the second video. All right. There's the background. 4,277 subscribers. New subscribers welcome. Estimate revenue $177.74. Analytics. Okay, 4,456 views in the last 48 hours. I'm very impressed with that number. It may not seem much for most people, but that's pretty decent. All right, so considering the problem that I have with YouTube, so this is where I left off, and I decided to make it into another video. So let's read. This is a screenshot, but the next tweet that I have, it will be an article that I want to read. Harry is coming for you. CNN Business. Okay, Will Lewis in London on Wednesday, September 13, 2023. CNN, William Lewis, the new publisher and chief executive of the Washington Post, reportedly tried to kill a story about his alleged involvement in a UK phone hacking scandal cover-up, offering an NPR reporter an interview in exchange for squashing the forthcoming article. Wow. This is how these people roll, okay? If Lewis went this far to kill this scandal, then he must be guilty of all of... come on, this one. I'm trying to pause it so YouTube don't give me any issues. If Lewis went this far to kill this scandal, then he must be guilty of all the rest of it. You don't kill a story, then mess up a prime reporter's life till she had to quit. Oh, there was all of that? If there weren't any smoke from your 5-alarm fire you are trying to hide. Very interesting. Glad Prince Harry made sure people can't unseen Lewis' wrongdoing, despite all the guns and blazes he is receiving from the defending media. Lewis brought the British unethical journalism playbook to America, and he's finding out he can play it fast and loose in these parts. Go home, buddy. Okay, that's how they cover up stories in their country. Can't wait. Okay, nope, Harry is not coming for anyone, but for justice, fairness, and accurate reporting with dignity in the press, especially in the UK media, where the institution made his life and his mother's life a living hell. Karma for the princess warrior is delivering sweet justice. That is great. All right, we need to get rid of this loser. And some others too. Okay, it's not Harry at all. It's his unethical behavior. Harry should not even be included in any of these British tabloid unethical behavior here at all, besides the fact that he's suing their asses back in the UK. In terms of sending him back to the UK, he should not even be mentioned in that aspect. He hardly talk to the media unless if he's doing his work. Americans need to send all those Brits back home. We have enough of our own useless media to deal with. We don't want their level of toxic. But the thing is that what I think is happening, it's all part of the way the GOP in the US, the Conservative Party, is trying. Well, let me not say Conservative Party, the GOP, the current state of the GOP, because the MAGAs, okay, the MAGAs, this is the way they're moving forward. They're hoping Trump will win. If Trump wins, then these people will be clouding the media left and right. Put a blinder on people's eyes. They already start. They started already. Mainstream media are not even talking about real issues anymore in the US. They already start. So if Trump get in power, forget it. Alright? So every mainstream media will be completely blind. We refuse to report the truth. Blind people with BS stories. Alright, they want entertainment. And one of the videos, there's a Brit who came to, I think during Trump trial in New York. She wanted to look for entertainment. Trump is fun to watch on TV and all of that. But Trump is doing his BS at the cost of other people's lives. This is the BS I don't understand with some Brits. Alright, so now that's done. I read most of the comment. Did I go into the retweet? Yeah, that's that. Now, this is my next tweet and is the last one. And I'm surprised. I don't know if people respond, but there weren't that many respond to it. Yeah, only me. All right, via New York Times. So this is an article, and it's only me. I only did that so I could it could appear on my thing. All right, so New York Times. Washington Post shake-up brings fresh eye to an old scandal. The newspaper new publisher argued against coverage of British phone hacking. Instead, he has invited renewed scrutiny. Alright. Will Lewis became publisher of the Washington Post after serving in the same position at the Wall Street Journal, another Murdoch thing, but he cut his teeth in Britain. Andrew Honig get his image. Alright, that was June 7th. Okay, in 2011, Rupert Murdoch's media empire, News Corporation, faced a grave threat in Britain. Reporters at one of his tabloid newspapers were exposed for hacking the phone of celebrities, private citizens, and in one case, a murdered child for information. I hope the people in the US are reading these things. Other misdeeds soon emerged, including the revelation that for years, tabloid reporters have paid for information from police officers and government officials. You know what I'm laughing at? He's trying to cover one thing, and then some more is being exposed. That's the good thing with that. Desperate to stop the scandal and appease prosecutors in Britain and abroad, News Corp chose Will Lewis, a former editor of the Daily Telegraph, to clean up the mess. He did just that. And he's telling he cooperated with the authorities, revealed wrongdoing, and helped set the operation on a new course. Some former colleagues and the hacking victims, though, long believed that he helped News Corp cover up the extent of the wrongdoing. Those accusations, nearly 15 years old and unproven, suddenly have fresh currency and have complicated Mr. Lewis' new job as publisher of the Washington Post. Last month, while Mr. Lewis prepared to restructure the Post newsroom, restructure from what? Restructure it to make it like the UK? Oh my God, God help us. These are the foot soldiers I used to pray for and say make them not do these people's dirty work. Oh my God. All right, so let's continue. Last month, while Mr. Lewis prepared to restructure the Post newsroom, a judge in London ruled that victims of phone hacking could press ahead with more allegations in their wide-ranging lawsuit. Mr. Lewis is not a defendant. The lawsuit asserts that his cleanup was in part a cover-up to protect News Corp leaders. This week, Mr. Lewis was caught off guard when the Post executive editors quit ahead of his reorganization. Then the New York Times reported that Mr. Lewis had told her that covering the legal development in the hacking case represented a lapse in judgment. NPR reporter followed. More people are getting involved. NPR reporter followed with revelation that Mr. Lewis had offered him a scoop in exchange for not pursue an article about the phone hacking scandal. Now, his newsroom overhaul seems much more complicated, with his reporters questioning Mr. Lewis' vision, his decision to hire two former underlings as top Post editors, and whether he shares their ethics. On this channel, I have a video. I remember when I first created this channel, APTS Sussex, as a backup. One of the things that I wanted to do with this channel is do research videos. Okay? And one of the things that I did is regarding journalism. Is on this channel. Go watch it. Okay? Ethic and all of that I brought up. The Post in a statement said he does, quote, as a highly experienced publisher and ex-editor and editor-in-chief, William is very clear about the lines that should not be crossed, and his track record attests to that. Mr. Lewis came to the Post after serving as publisher of the Wall Street Journal, but he cut his tie in Britain, in a country where journalists pay for scoops, hack into phones, and secretly tape politicians. The Telegraph's biggest scoop under Mr. Lewis came when his reporters pay for a conditional information on politician expense claim. Such tactics are considered unethical in most American newsrooms, including the Post, the paper that changed the course of national news with its coverage of Watergate, CIA, Black Site, and other major stories. I mean, once Rupert Murdoch buy these things, you know it's trash. Now reporters, they are wondering whether he will bring new journalistic sensibility and ethical standard to Washington. Okay, I'm telling you, they're waiting for Trump to bring the same BS that the UK has. And you see what Trump is asking, so president could do things without being prosecuted. Just think about that. This will be his minion to cover up for him. Okay, let's continue. It looks that way, said Paul Fowey, who until last year covered media of the Post, hiring his cronies, basically protecting his own backside by talking down stories that don't make him look so good. This is the problem. These will be unknown things at the Washington Post, a British brouhaha. Okay, the phone hacking scandal began with a revelation that tabloid journalists in Britain had hacked into the phones of celebrities, sports stars, and politicians, among others, to get scoop. The fallout was tremendous, with a year-long public inquiry and allegation in criminal and civil court. One tabloid newspaper, the News Corp owned by News of the World, folded. The costs related to the episode now tap $1 billion, including damages to hundreds of victims. Until 2010, Mr. Lewis had nothing to do with those issues. He was the editor of the Daily Telegraph, a broadsheet outside the Murdoch empire. Once you see that, you know this is trash. Under his tenure, he broke a scandal about politicians using government expense account to fund lavish personal expenses. Mr. Lewis later estimated that the newspaper paid as much as £150,000, about $190,000 today, for the document. Wow. He joined News Corp in 2010 and a year later was tasked with dealing with the phone hacking fallout. Quote, he was good choice. In effect, Mr. Fowey, who covered the scandal at the time, he said Mr. Lewis was well respected in British media circle. His ethics were not in question. Mr. Lewis joined a small team called the Management and Standard Committee. Oh no, that's not IPSO. That attempt to ascribe blame for the problems, ferret out other wrongdoing, and prove that News Corp was committed to cleaning up its act. As part of that effort, the committee provided the police with detailed information on journalists who hack into phones or pay public officials. Some journalists complained that they were being blamed for what had been accepted practices. Accepted practice. This is the thing people should know. You should know that what you're doing is wrong. Okay, just put yourself in somebody else's shoes. When I was reading about, I think, Paul McCartney and Heather Mills, all right, they're talking very sensible things between wife and husband. They're both pointing fingers at each other, things going on the papers. Can you imagine if this is you with your husband? Just put yourself in somebody's shoes. Would you want people to hear what you're talking to your husband? Something deep, private. And then you go and blast it out to the world. This is very basic concept. You should understand this was wrong. Oh my God. And now they're blaming you. And then you like, this is practice. Shouldn't you know this is wrong? Let's continue. Quote, he oversaw the throwing under the bus of journalists acting under standard procedures for decades, said Dan Evans. That's from the NYTimes, one of the journalists, a former News of the World reporter who was prosecuted, provided evidence to the authorities. There's some of the Dan Evans. Is that him? I think that was him. I read in one of those NYTimes.
No, it's all right. No! No, 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 no!
Then Evans, a former News of the World reporter who was prosecuted, provided evidence to the authorities and has since called for press reform, is the way things were done. Mr. Lewis has seldom discussed this period of his career, but when he has described himself as cleaning up a mess. Okay, my role was to put things right, he once told the BBC, and that is what I did. I did whatever I could to preserve journalistic integrity, he told the Post recently. Accusation of cover-up. Okay, how long is that? Oh my God. What accusation of cover-up? In court documents, phone hacking victim says Mr. Lewis allowed the deletion of huge volume of emails that could have implicated senior News Corp figures in the scandal. The lawsuit claimed that on his watch, 8 filing cabinet. I remember reading that someplace. Is it from one of the New York Byline Times thing here? Okay, where's that other one? Rebecca Brooks. They find things on the floor, and then they, I mean, the police were telling them, but give them back to them to keep it safe. It's like telling the facts to guard the chicken kind of thing. And then half of a good portion were deleted. I guess it's from that. The lawsuit claimed that on his watch, 8 filing cabinets full of potential evidence disappear. The plaintiff said that rather than turning over everything to the authorities, he ignored information that could have implicated senior executive. They assert that he was part of a scheme to fabricate a security threat to justify deleting emails, creating another issue. Oh my God. He has denied wrongdoing. The lawsuit is one of many that have long swallowed down the hacking affair. Many plaintiffs, including celebrities like Elton John, settled their cases. Others, like Prince Harry, continue to press their case. Soon after, this is the thing they were hoping for Harry. When they realize Harry is not gonna stop, this is the thing that they're trying to do. I don't know. I think they paid the brother to stop Harry, but William doesn't have control of Harry. So I don't know. Maybe this is the thing that they're trying to do with Kate too. Maybe she is alive. They're creating this scandal, so the spotlight of the negativity on them. But let's continue. Soon after some allegations surfaced in 2020, Mr. Lewis was passed over to be Director General of the BBC, arguably Britain's most prominent media job. Mr. Lewis' work on the Management and Standard Committee placed him within Mr. Murdoch's inner circle. My God. And he was promoted in 2014 to lead Dow Jones, which publishes the Wall Street Journal. But his work on the committee infuriated many staff members at News Corp's British newspapers. Some believe that low-level reporters had been sacrificed, as Mr. Evans describes it, quote, to keep his boss out of an orange jumpsuit. Though he was often in London as Dow Jones chief executive, Mr. Lewis rarely turned up in the company's main office there, which shares space with The Sun, a tabloid newspaper where some News of the World staff went to work after it was closed. And it's like they close it over there, but they open over there. But it's the same thing carrying on. They just changed the name. Oh my God. Wow. Instead, he worked from a building miles away. Former employees recall. The future of the Post. The phone hacking scandal might have been old news had it not been for a shake-up at the Post. The newspaper's owner, Jeff Bezos, appointed Mr. Lewis to be publisher late last year, and he began laying plans to split the paper into 3 sections. Core news, which will include businesses and politics coverage, opinion, and oh my God, and a new reader-friendly section focused on service journalism. What the hell is service journalism? What is that? Service journalism. What is journalist? Okay. That's service journalism, also known as utility journalism. What the hell is utility journalism? Provides readers with practical information that helps them navigate their communities and meet their needs. It can cover a wide range of topics from serious to frivolous, including lifestyle, culture, practical tips, DIY, gardening, finance, health, to BS people again. Oh my God. And this is the guy they brought in to do that. All right. So, there's more. Or is that a different one? Okay, I'm starting to get tired. It's 4:43. I need to start editing some stuff. Okay, the Post executive editor, Salib Busby, urged him not to make such a drastic change before the election in November. Mr. Lewis went ahead with it and offered Miss Busby a job running the paper's news section and apparently demotion. Wow. Like I was saying, they're waiting for the election. Not only waiting, they're preparing. Okay, remember, these people have buddies everywhere. When you look at the GOPs, in the South, their governors, the elected officials over there, they're all on the same group. They're establishing themselves. Oh my God, this is scary. This is very scary. Okay. So that's that. So that's pretty much a demotion. Soon after, the Times revealed that Mr. Lewis had scolded Mrs. Busby over the newspaper's coverage of the hacking lawsuit. He disapproved of plans to write about a judge ruling, which the Post ultimately covered, that cleared the way for plaintiffs to air allegation against him. Then came the account from David Falkensflick, a veteran media reporter for NPR, that Mr. Lewis had offered a deal in exchange for crashing an article. In several conversations, Lewis repeatedly and heatedly offered to give me an exclusive interview about the Post's future as long as I dropped the story about the allegation. Mr. Falkenfleck wrote he did not take the deal. Okay, Mr. Lewis told the Post on Thursday that his conversation with Mr. Falkenfleck was off the record, had occurred before he joined. But you still said it. Off or on, you still said it though. Alright. And had occurred before he joined the Post. He labeled Mr. Falkenfleck, quote, an activist, not a journalist. Pfft, what do you call your people though? A clown with West Pass. Okay. Some politicians and press officers do offer a trade access for favorable coverage, but accepting such a deal will violate most newsroom norms. So such offer from the incoming publisher of the Post is unusual and surprised journalists in and out of the newsroom. He's using his position to protect his public image, Mr. Fowey said. It's the thing reporters get a rip of. They think someone's hiding something. Correction was made in June 8, 2024. An earlier version of this article misstates where Will Lewis was based as Dow Jones chief executive. He was based in New York, not London. Okay, so that's the end. I don't think there's any, there's no comment, only mine. I think this was the article in one video I didn't have time or I didn't feel like reading and I left it. And then I come across this and I thought I'd share it. So this is the problem with papers. They're trying to blind people and they're shifting over here. Like I said, the world, not in this video, I said it, other videos, the world is waiting for America to be on the page that they want to move the world. So in order to move that, they need to blind the people. So one of the things that came while Trump was running for office since 2016, not right now, since 2016, and more people are coming out, is that when the mainstream media were putting a blindfold on the people, on Americans, the ones who have the senses, who saw what was happening, what they did, they opened their own platform. They create their own platform to shed light to the BS that was happening and things that they were not even sharing with the people. Okay? They claim they are news people or news channel, news station, but they didn't report the important things that will make people make proper decision when, for instance, they go voting, who they should vote for, you know, their neighborhood and all that. They don't talk about that. But if there's something about a black person who did something, they blast it all over. But important, I mean, this thing could be still important, but the core things, what create news, that is news, they don't want to do that. They want to manufacture things.
You was clearly endemic in the British press at that time, and you did nothing. But I will give you this. I'll give you this credit. It's not really credit, but it's like semi-sympathy. I think you were frightened of falling out with, for instance, Murdoch, because at that time you still probably thought he could get you elected. But more importantly, this is the sinister business. There's an individual threat going on. MPs were terrified individually of taking on any of the tabloids, but especially anything from News International. I mean, the prime example being when there was the Culture and whatever it is Select Committee in 2003, no, it was the later one, I think, 2006-9, when they tried to bring Rebecca Brooks in to see them, and she refused, and they asked again, and she refused, and they kept asking, and finally the message got through to the Select Committee, if you make me come, I will destroy your personal lives. And they backed off, terrified. And that's what MPs have been. They've been, on an individual basis, absolutely terrified. It was, after all, Chris Bryant at that same Select Committee who asked Rebecca Brooks the question, have you ever paid the police? And when she made her terrible gaffe and said yes. And 6 months later, what happens? Chris Bryant is outed by The Sun as being gay. You know, this is a protection racket, and it should not be called anything else. And these are supposed to be our lawmakers.
Okay. I also am acutely aware of where my family stand and how scared they are of the tabloids turning on them.
Turning on them for what? They're the royal family.
Yes, but it's there is this invisible, what's termed or referred to as the invisible contract behind closed doors between the institution and the tabloids, UK tabloids.
How so?
Well, it is to simplify it. It's a case of if you as a family member are willing to wine, dine, and give full access to these reporters, then you will get better press.
What do you care about better press if you're royal?
I think everyone needs to have some compassion for them in that situation, right? There is a level of control by fear that has existed for generations. I mean, generation
but who's
after
controlling?
Of publishing are not necessarily aligned with the incentives of truth. You know, my experience, I guess, has been more pre-social media around the UK press, who sadly conflate profit with purpose and news with entertainment. And they don't report the news, they create it.
May God continue to protect Harry and give him victory. Let's do that. Prayer for victory for Harry. Okay, I said prayer for Prince Harry's victory. I made sure to put his name because these other people were all over. So not much prayer. Not much. Let's see here. All right, so that's the only one here. Probably one of the squatters who did it. Okay, God of love is very blurry. God of love, send your blessing upon Harry and Meghan and all who are joining in marriage, that rejoicing in your will and continue under your protection, they may both live and grow in your love all their days, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Okay, so that's that. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link and a Cash App link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. And don't forget to check my shop and see if you like some stuff, and hopefully you could help support my channel, because right now YouTube is not playing fair with my channels. Okay, so that's it. Thank you for watching.
It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
we ask for forgiveness and please come back.
As you saw me find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life. You are all in this together, and if I may speak personally, we are all in this together, because asking for help was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You will be continually amazed how life changes for the better